Hello everybody, welcome. I can't tell you how pleased I am at last to put on this London show.
Which is wonderful.
Thank you so much. We think so too. We're thrilled to put it on because we've put it off 3 times over the last 2 recessionary years. But now we're in the happy uplands of the Labour administration. Everything is possible.
We're all going home.
More like everything is impossible. But despite that, we are feeling very bullish and we're going gangbusters on one show after another. And the first one in there was London. We're so overdue to put this on. Those who know the gallery know that we specialise in the dead artists of the great period in the 19th century who recorded in their own way. And we've brought them back to life. You'll see downstairs the great late 19th century topographers, the stars of the show, the 3rd and 4th stars of the show.
You've been recognised.
Herbert Menzies Marshall and Rose Barton, who painted the Belle Époque when London and Paris was gay and looked alike and everybody died of the pollution, but the sunsets were fantastic. They're there and they're very well represented. They're great ones from the Guinness collection. Also we have the great topographer Hosmer Shepherd, who recorded so many of the things that we now miss. Goodwin, we ran out of Goodwins. Goodwin's so popular that we only have one Goodwin. But in accumulating this wonderful selection of 19th and early 20th century, it gave us time to add in the excitement of our contemporary artists who have been working very hard to catch up with the quality, and they've surpassed the quality of the others. We have Melissa Scott Miller and Jack, who are now dubbed the odd couple because they go out painting together. And a very good example after the show, would you file past the wonderful last pictures that they painted together outside the Prince Alfred in Maida Vale. You will see the difference, which I'll point to later when they're chatting. They were side by side. And you will also see that Jack did a very sneaky thing, which was to slide behind Melissa and paint Melissa leaning forward. You can tell that Melissa, she's an unmistakable bottom. Posture when she's painting. So Melissa and Jack start, but we've been even luckier because the fluid, most talented man to occupy an architectural space, fill it with figures, and spontaneously on plein air is Paul Cox, and that is a late inclusion. He's been working very hard, and we put that wall up. The brilliant Leslie Father, who's outselling everybody at the moment. So just buck up your game a bit. Leslie is doing fantastically well. She's also been in the steps of Melissa and Jack in Maida Vale. I'm pleased to say I'm going to get everybody to go to Maida Vale. They'll be jostling at the We love the pictures that they produce. They fit into the 19th and 20th century tradition of painting on plein air in this exciting city. But they've added this layer of excitement. And we want to know now, this is entirely fair, I haven't trained them, I haven't told them what I'm going to ask them, but they said, oh, let's see what goes. So Melissa, tell us why you love London, why you're so ubiquitous. We see so much of you on plein air that you're almost going to get in the guidebooks soon. What do you love about London so much? What does it give you?
I mean, I've grown up in London. I've never lived anywhere else. So, but yeah, I do. I just really love it. I think it's full of things to paint. To me, it's got a fantastic atmosphere, and I love the brickwork and the slates and the York stone pavements, and yeah, it's just really, to me, always really inspiring, and brings back lots of memories, because I've grown up here and I've brought up my children, now I've got a grandson growing up in London, and there's always new things to see, and yeah, I just don't seem to get tired of it at all, so it's great.
You're a late addition to the London scene. You usually have on a cricket field,
I'm a
out
novice.
in the home counties. How have you adjusted? Have you enjoyed it even more?
Well, I'm a novice compared to Melissa, but in my cricketing days, we only ever came in for 3 or 4 days, play a cricket match and leave. There was never that much time, apart from nip into the portrait gallery, or the day before a test match I would go to the Imperial War Museum and try and get some inspiration there, sitting in the trench display and sitting there for hours, and I was just dozing off trying to build up some courage and for the test match the following day, and I'd be sat there for so long, and then suddenly I'd wake up and all the toys would screaming, and noise would reverberate around the Imperial War Museum, and so I never saw a great deal when I was playing. It's since I've teamed up with Chris and the guys here that I generally walk from here to Euston Station to go home, and I've discovered so much. I mean, I have just fallen in love with I knew London was great anyway, but there's everything here for an artist. That whatever subject you want to paint, water, architecture, transport, people, hustle, bustle, quiet streets like Mead Street. You can't fail. You cannot fail. And also, various times of the year, and this will hopefully agree with me, everything changes, like from month to month. So we're never bored, are we? We're never stuck for any subject matter. In fact, we've both got a very long list in our minds of what we're going to be painting over the next few months and hopefully coming years. But I'm addicted to it. I live out in the country now. I'm a country boy, but I get so excited every time I come into London. I've got a couple of days now, 2 or 3 days, painting with Melissa, and popping to watch Spurs Thursday night as well with Chris, which is great. So it's like an adventure for me, because sometimes, and I was just chatting to a few people earlier about some of the smaller, in fact all of those pictures there are accidents, because I was normally on my way to Euston, and I would stop and paint something. I'd missed the train, missed 2 trains, I'd be late for my tea, my wife would be very upset with me. But it's such an addictive thing that the moments are there for you, and I feel like it's like I've got to do it, I've just got to stop. No matter who I upset, I've just got to stop and paint. And we don't struggle for material, do we? In terms of, constantly, even at night, the 2 nocturne pictures at the end there, there's always something going on, and we've got quite a few planned for the next few days, haven't we? So hopefully
we can't get down the road without saying, "Oh look." With the sunny.
Well, maybe we should write a list. We should write all these things, because we've got them all in our heads. So it's just a magic place, and if you're an artist, I don't think you can fail in London, because you've got everything. You've got everything you need. You might only be a specific painter on one type of thing, but everything is there for you. And as I said, I'm a bit of a novice. I've only been doing it for 7 or 8 years since I've been with Chris. So I'm looking forward to the next many years to continue to painting in London, because it's just a magic place.
What you both said, I think, indicates one of your great strengths. You both, like many artists and like many great novelists, one of the things that characterises you all is your powers of observation. If there's little things, there are incidents, oddities, vistas, qualities of life, you observe it. And even Melissa's always spotting animals. I mean, you told me you were once in St James's Square in the flower bed. She hides in the flower beds doing St James's Square. And a fox came by, and I said, why don't you put it in? And I said, no one will believe me. But she put it in later. And you indicating all these observational powers that you have puts me in mind of a very famous poem written by Patience Week, I think it was called, and it sort of sums up what the artistic temperament can achieve. If you stand very still in the midst of a wood, you can hear life go on all around you. Beating wings, rushing things, nature's rich hodgepodge surrounds you. If you stand very still in the midst of your life, you can think yourself in fields of clover. If you stand very still in the midst of your life, someone in a car will run you over. So you're occupying a very dangerous profession. But you must continue. I'm going to ask you to comment on your different powers of observation, how you see things differently. You paint together and enjoy each other's company, and you come back with the same view, and it couldn't be more different. Jack, as you look, he's interested in the atmospherics. There's a dark, brooding, nighttime feeling. Was Melissa, as ever, whether it's daytime or night, she's interested in the frizz, the surface of things. But you're still trying to get to the character of a place. And does it help to have somebody so different by your side when you're painting?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to have someone, and particularly someone who's got their own vision, and it's so interesting how Jack interprets the same spot in a completely different way, and we both just quietly get on with it. Really, we don't talk a lot, and then when we have a break, we just encourage each other, and that's really nice actually, because I teach, I take groups of people out painting, and I have painted with other people, and sometimes it can be quite difficult because I get really absorbed in what I'm doing, but so does Jack, so it's the perfect thing really, because although we're both there, we're both in our own world, really. So,
yeah, and we don't compete, do we? There's no competition.
We encourage each other.
Although I do sneaky look at yours and go, oh, blimey, look at that. Splash that paint on. I need to put. Come on, Russell, get your gear, get into gear, and go for it. Just splash a colour on. Because I love Melissa's stuff. Because if you ever watch Melissa paint, if you can arrange it at any time or find out where she is, just go and watch her set up. And with a blank canvas, she will draw out in charcoal every little detail so she knows exactly what she's going to paint. And then she puts the paint on top with such ferocity and boldness and skill that it's actually quite inspirational. It's quite gives you a bit of a lift. And I've sneakily looked over your shoulder a few times and watched you without you knowing. And it's just magic to see her produce magic. And I think we get an energy from that, and you get a drive from that, and it's exciting. Because painting for me is an adventure. Every day is an adventure. Every day is different, a bit like playing cricket. Every day is virtually different. And I just think we bounce off each other so well. And it was fascinating to see the Formosa Street pictures, because Melissa saw the light differently to me, and I saw it more gloomy. But she was picking. You're probably better at picking the light out than I was. But she thought it was a little bit brighter than that, and that suited Melissa. And it's we're it's a solitary occupation really, painting either in the studio or out on your own in plein air, and it's just nice to have a bit of company, and we have a cup of tea and we have a stop for a break, but you just get you sort of bounce off each other, and we do go off our own little worlds for a bit, and then we come back together, and it's just so exciting. And I'm loving every minute. It's great. It's been great. I think it's improved my work.
I've been very surprised, Melissa, that you both got it, because you're not only very solitary painters, you're quite solitary personalities. You're just a little bit closed off and concentrating on your own worlds. And you're both quite unusual, but I'm glad to hear that you're getting inspiration. So there is something going on between you. There's so many artists, groups, get a lot from each other. They paint together. London Sketch Club was founded in 1898 and still goes today. They paint the same subject once a week, and then when they're finished, they criticise each other's work, and then they get pissed. So there's great camaraderie. The Wapping group of painters, they sit on the same spot on the Thames, and they paint the same view, and they actually cross-fertilise quite markedly. I wrote in an introduction to their catalogue about 10 years ago that this produced a look of the Wapping group, because they do cross-fertilise. They get the best from each other. You get from each other inspiration. You're not tainted by each other's work. There's no Venn diagram of activity. So artists are endlessly different because art is different and the view is different. The endless variety of art is what makes it so exciting. And I'm surprised every day Melissa comes in with a tacky canvas, which I always forget. I get my finger, oh no. And I just can't believe the different feeling within a similar, what I see as a similar subject. It's another square, another. The artists find things in there and teach us how to look more clearly, or to be interested in a subject that we find banal. So we have a lot to thank them for. Is Leslie here?
I'm here.
Leslie, do you ever paint with? I know you're a solitary being as well. Do you ever paint with other artists?
I do sometimes, but not very often. No, I might go if I'm doing a particular area. Then I might go walking with somebody else. I like walking an area and walking it again and again. So I do that often with somebody else.
Before you paint, you decide where you're going to paint.
Yeah.
That's almost recalling history. In the 80s, when I was writing a biography of S.R. Badman, he took such a shine to the works of Leslie and wanted to put her up for the RWS. He singled her out from all the other artists contemporary. I don't know what happened. Did you ever? No, we didn't know. Leslie's gone up this way and the RWS has gone down that way. So, but Badman lives on. Paul, do you ever? Where's Paul? Paul Cox?
Yeah.
Do you ever allow people to?
No. I mean, I think when I'm teaching, I go with students and we work together and we have a chat about approaching stuff. But it usually happens. I'm kind of on a traffic island or in a rather busy place. It's not an easy thing to share that. And usually I share it with people who are looking over my shoulder, talking to me while I'm doing it and interrupting the process. But that's about it, really. Yeah.
How do you feel about people interrupting you?
It's strange, actually. I was talking about earlier that what happens is that it happens. If it happens right at the beginning, it's awkward because you can't concentrate. Once you've got into the work, you only half listen to what they're saying because you're kind of busy. It doesn't really matter too much. But I've had some people talking about their whole life history. And I mean, even in France, I had a child balancing a toy car on my head. And I think, and also in Spain, I was drawing in a square, and I had to invent a whole fiesta going on in the square with barrels of beer and dancing, which wasn't actually there. The square was completely empty, and I had all the buildings that I hadn't actually started to draw for this scenario. And a group of American tourists came into the corner of the square, went straight to look at what I was doing, and then looked down and said, where have they gone? I had to explain it was just invented. So a lot of it's invention and also embarrassing. If you've invented a load of stuff and someone looks at it and says, well, that's not really what's there.
What do you feel about
people say that.
Famously,
That's not there.
Look over your
People
shoulder and
say-
say, that's not that colour.
I know.
People say, where is that? Yeah, no, it can be quite annoying, but it also can be really nice. Particularly when, I love it when children come along and then I hear them as they go past, they say to whoever they're with, can I do some painting when I get home? And that makes it all, really worthwhile. But yeah, I have had some annoying kids who put their hands in the paint.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like Paul says, you need to be underway a little bit and get the whole thing set up and running to give them any sort of attention at all, really. But I was out with Melissa painting Formosa Street, and a guy came up to me and said, "Are you Walter Sickert?" But it's nice, the comments are nice. If they don't like it, then probably don't say anything. But it's always encouraging. They say, "Oh, I love that," and it's just I get a nice buzz out of it. Often they talk
Jack's
about.
really nice to people.
Oh, often we talk about cricket, that tends to come up in the conversation, but no, I don't mind it too much, and it's all part of the experience, all part of the adventure, and yeah, I don't mind at all.
Does anybody want to ask them anything in particular? Yes.
I'd like
Louis.
to know, when they did the 2 paintings, how long did it take you? Or did you take them back to add bits to them? I mean, how long did you spend?
Well, I'd already drawn mine out before, and I went back after, because I live in London, so it's easy for me, and it did actually take me 4 or 5 goes.
That's all on site?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we started about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon that
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and then Carol was producing evening dinner, so we had to stop at 7:30 to be back at Chris's, but it was 3 or 4 hours. And I remember putting it into your lounge, Chris, and everyone that was there, Alex and Melissa, you were all saying, "Well, that's brilliant, that's great, that's perfect." I was going, no, that doesn't look much to me at the moment. But when I took it back to the studio, you were right. You were right. All I did was put the lamppost in with the lamp light, and a couple of lights and a couple of people. And the reason I resisted touching it up and not adding to it was because you're in a different light in the studio, and with the nocturnes, a bit like Goodwin's court that you sold a couple last year. Magic happens that you can't really recreate that in the studio. So the painting on the spot is so critical, but it's very tempting to think, oh, I'll just add to that and add to that. In all honesty, I didn't touch it at all apart from that lamppost and the sign. And I think that says a lot for plein air painting, where you just get so much out of it. And it is the place to do it. It's the place to be, isn't it? And you end up with more accurate, in my eyes, more accurate scene that's in front of you on the canvas. So the tempting thing is to fiddle, and you think you can do better, and it goes downhill. Don't do it. Even if you want to sick it, don't do it.
John's got a real magic touch. It's incredible, because like when he's standing there, because he started early to late afternoon, and then I suddenly noticed the sky had gone completely pink. And I said, "Look at that, Jack." And within seconds he had another canvas out and had done an incredible little painting of the view behind.
The other way.
You know, he's got incredible energy. Whereas with me, I have to keep fiddling around for a long time.
I think your happiest and I think your best work, and all of your work is very good. Sometimes the best work is when you hit the same atmospheric conditions, you hit the same quality of life. So in that curious autumn we had, where we had a number of very bright afternoons, you went back to Wilton Crescent. And the light in that was just wonderful, because you got 5 days when it was the same light. And it's important for artists, and it's very difficult in England because the weather is changeable and the weather is dull most of the time. So you're struggling. You can go for the dull atmospherics, but we need a bit of sunlight to sell the painting. So I encourage you. I don't need to encourage Melissa. She's out every single day, and since we gave her a wonderful umbrella, she's even out in the rain. So I do hope you both carry on painting in your both individual and wonderful ways, and I hope you cross-fertilise, because I'm thinking of a show when Melissa met Jack. I think it's make a great show. Any other, before we go back to the bar and look and keep looking around, any other, yes?
Ready for Jack, you had a legendary sort of cricket career. How much was the discipline of having to concentrate from 11:30 to 6:30 helped you as an artist when you go out and paint for a day?
Well, as Chris said, he hinted that I've got a sort of a touch of a reclusive personality, so to switch off from the world is quite easy for me. I found it relatively easy. So when you're focusing catching a cricket ball all day, you can't have an intensity all day. You have to focus for 4 or 5 seconds, 15 seconds maybe, then switch off and zone back in again. So I don't mind people chatting to me sometimes, because I can zone back in. But I think cricket's a discipline, wicket keeping's a discipline certainly. and you have to work at it. You know, it's sort of, people say, oh, you made that look easy, but actually it's a lot of hard work goes into practice and actually producing the goods. And I think the same is with painting for me. You have to be dedicated, you have to be committed, totally committed. And I think that's important. So the actual discipline, the mental discipline, I mean, a lot of sportsmen need to be mentally disciplined, so I found that bit fine. Plus the fact, when I'm painting that particular shaped canvas, the rest of the world disappears for me, and then it's like heaven. So I don't worry about what's going on around me. So to zone in and out is quite easy for me. My hands are very important, and my eyes are important. The rest of me can fall to bits, I don't really care. My right hand and my eyes, I can carry on. So the hand-eye coordination may be part of it, I don't know. But I'm quite a visual person, so catching a cricket ball is slightly long-sighted, so that's a visual thing. So I think some things do overlap, but you know, to be a professional painter, it just doesn't happen. You can't paint when you feel like it, in my opinion. If you want to have a successful career, you've got to dedicate yourself. So, much to my wife's annoyance, I did promise her plenty of attention after 20 odd years of playing cricket. I'm now addicted to painting pictures, so somehow I'm still getting away with it, but the disciplines are the same, I think. There's definitely a comparison there.
Thank you.
Melissa, Jack, Paul, Leslie, thank you very much. Thank you all this evening.